Hi, I'm Tom O'Leary, Director of Instruction for the Professional Swing Trainer. Now that you've got your swing trainer, and hopefully it's put together okay, the first thing I want to do is go over a couple of things as starting off using the trainer, what I would like you to do. The main focus of this machine is to train and teach you folks the proper swing path, the feel of the swing, and to teach your muscles to learn that proper golf swing. Now, the way we go about that is training and teaching muscle memory. There's 2 exercise cords that come with your unit. The main focus of the machine is the proper swing plane. The ring is your swing plane. Now, on this machine, you can adjust the plane to use different clubs in your bag, because from a wedge to a driver, your swing plane changes. You're going to have one plane for your short irons, one plane for your medium-long irons, and a third plane for your woods. Now, as far as adjusting the swing plane, it is very easy to do. There's 4 adjustments. You have 2 top adjustments and you have 2 bottom adjustments. Everybody has their own swing plane. Golfers have different builds, different height ranges. For instance, an individual, myself being 5'11", with a 5-iron, I have a certain swing plane. Now, another individual at 5'11" may be skinnier than me, longer arms, swing more upright, maybe more broad-chested, bigger, have a flatter swing plane. So we give you a settings chart in your paperwork that tells you, based on your height, what club you want to get on there with. That gives you our suggested settings. Now, those are just suggested settings. Everybody has their own swing. The key is to make your swing consistent. So if what we suggest to you in our settings chart feels off to you, if it feels too upright or it feels too flat, go ahead and adjust it a little bit, find a place where you feel comfortable, and work from there. Now, if we give you a suggested setting for a 5-iron, say for instance the 5th hole or 6th hole at the top, and it feels too flat for you and you want to bring it a little upright, maybe 1 notch. Now, when you get on with one of your short irons or when you get on there with a wood, you also want to compensate and make sure that you make that same adjustment so that you are consistent in that slightly more upright swing plane. Now, as far as adjusting the plane, very easy to do. Take the pins out of the holes as I just showed, either bring the top to a more upright or flatter position and put the pins in a different hole. It takes about 5 seconds to change the swing plane from one plane to the next. Now, with this plane, we have an opening here. And the reason for this opening is basically 2 things. One, we feel that if an individual comes all the way back to this point on his backswing, you are overswinging, overextending yourself, and that's where most folks have a tendency to lose control of the golf swing. Now, as I alluded to earlier, the exercise cords that come with this machine, their main focus and function is to train and teach the specific muscles you use at different stages of your swing to learn the proper swing and to learn the proper positions to be in. But these cords, by putting resistance against your backswing and follow-through, are also going to do a lot of other things. One being, in your backswing, it's really not going to allow the individual to overswing. It puts enough tension to where it doesn't allow you to get back to where you can come to that point, which is good. It's going to train and teach your muscles to stop at a certain position of your backswing. Also, another reason that we did this is because we feel that the follow-through is on a little more upright path than your backswing. When you're coming back to this stage of your swing and you're on proper plane, well, when a golfer comes through on the follow-through, his release is up normally over his left shoulder. Therefore, it is not as flat as his backswing. This adjustment over here allows us to flatten or more upright the follow-through depending on what club you're using. But it allows us to get the follow-through to where it's on a little bit more of an upright path, a little bit more on target line towards the pin. So, for instance, my settings here with a 5-iron. Now, the bottom adjustments, you have 1 bottom left and 1 bottom right also. The bottom adjustments are geared towards the balance point of your golf club. Whatever club an individual wants to get onto this machine with, if they were to take it and balance it in their finger, it's called the balance point of that shaft. Now, when you're using it, by sewing your club to the ground, you want the bottom of the ring to come out to meet that shaft. So with a 5-iron, most people are going to have it in the 2nd hole. I'm using a 5-iron here. That's the main club you want to start off with when starting to use and practice with the trainer, because it's the medium length club in your bag. Once you get used to the 5-iron, you can then deviate and go to your short irons or your woods, depending on which club you really feel you have a more problem with. though you need to use all your clubs to learn all your different swing planes. With a short iron, it's going to be in the first hole. With a medium iron, it's going to be in the second hole. And with a long iron and woods, it'll be in the third hole, maybe a fourth hole if you have an extended driver. So with me using a 5-iron, I have the pin in the second hole on the bottom on both sides, the pin in the 6th hole on the top right, and the pin in the 7th hole on the top left, giving me that little slightly more upright follow-through on target line. Now, as you start to begin to use the PST, the professional swing trainer, the first thing I want to address is stance and posture. So many golfers, one of their biggest problems that they have is improper alignment. Some golfers, individuals, are left-eye dominant, some golfers are right-eye dominant. So many golfers that I see, whether it's on the practice range or on the golf course, and I ask them where their target line is, especially in the driving range, because it's very hard to pick out a target line a lot of times on a driving range. But when they're out on the range or on the golf course, one of the biggest problems most golfers have in alignment is they're either aimed left or right of target line, even though they think they are aimed right at the target. And with this machine here, one of the good things about it is when you set up in the address position, with your stance, you can see your feet down below you, and it's very easy to tell if a left or right foot is a little bit closer than the other. Therefore, it's very easy to tell if you've got an open or closed stance. So it's very easy to get in and set up square towards your target line. And once you get used to this, when you go to the golf course, you're going to see, and it may feel uncomfortable at first when you step up to the ball and you've been working with this machine, you're going to go, boy, maybe that feels a little bit like I'm over to the left or over to the right, but in all actuality, you've been doing it wrong before, and this is going to get you square towards your target line. Now, secondly, you always want to square your club towards your target and sole your club to the ground. Sole your club to the ground, bring it back to where the shaft meets the ring and let it rest lightly against that. That's setting the pitch for your stance. Once you do that, you step up, making sure both toes are even in distance from the ring, and take your normal address position. Now, the object when swinging on the machine is to let the club glide lightly right along the ring, keeping the club in contact with the ring throughout the whole swing. By doing that, you're staying on proper target line. Now, one thing you always want to make sure you do, and a couple of basic exercises which I'll explain here shortly, you always want to make sure that the toe of the club is up at halfway up your backswing and up at halfway up your follow-through, getting the proper hand rotation and release of the right hand through impact point. That's so important. And one of the great things about this machine is it really promotes and teaches the golfer